For more on the story, I'm joined in studio by Aubrey Tshabalala. He's the General Secretary of the Communication Workers Union. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Let's start with what the CWU makes of the announcement by Multichoice yesterday regarding not renewing ANN7's contract after August.
Well, good afternoon to you and the viewers. I think it's a very unfortunate decision taken by Multichoice in a variety number of issues. Amongst others is that it tramples along the line of freedom of press, but two, it makes very contradicting signals to the community and at large. Firstly, it says that there's nothing wrong in terms of the payments made to ANN7 by Multichoice, but they take the decision to pull the plug of ANN7. That's the first point. But secondly, if they were serious about corruption, if there's any elements of corruption, you start within your own institution, because if there is a corrupter, there's always a corruptee. So they should discipline their own staff members who could have been involved in those irregular contracts giving away. But the third point that is very important is the one of workers. I think workers will be facing a very bleak future, where they are not so sure whether their employment is secured and stuff like that. We have at this point in time organizing a meeting with Multichoice to try to see how do we deal with that particular point. But the fourth point that we want to raise sharply is the one of monopoly. Multichoice, because it's dominating the industry, is one of the viable pay TV channels. It can do whatever it wants to do just to pull in a plug. I think it's playing into the gallery of the political landscape in South Africa right now.
You are at ANN7, you represent some workers there. Have you had engagements with them since this announcement, and what's happening there? Well,
there is anxiety. Workers are not so sure about their future, and obviously ourselves as a trade union movement, we like to meet first the Multichoice, because it's the one that made a decision. We are certain that we are going to have this meeting this week. Secondly, we also want to see the management of ANN7, so that when we go back to workers to give a feedback, we deal with the question of how best we secure jobs. Even if there is a new TV channel that comes in, we must at least make sure that we secure most of the job, if not all, in terms of that new channel coming in. But we are not there yet. We are still questioning the decision of Multichoice in its nature.
What other role do you have as a union to engage with the different stakeholders, perhaps who aren't Multichoice and aren't ANN7, who you've said you're going to try and meet with? Who else do you speak to when an issue like this arises?
Well, the other area that is very important is ICASA. In this sense, it's government, because in their press conference, Multichoice says that they are going to open another tendering process where they will invite any interested parties to come and do presentation and probably be the next replacing the ANN7. What worries about that, it goes further. It says that they will look into the content, they must not be politically aligned and all of those things. That is the role of ICASA. So this sheer arrogance by a monopoly capital to even dictate beyond their boundaries, it's very worrisome, and this is something that we must raise very sharply, so that we cannot end up being in a banana republic where you don't like views of any other person. I'm one person that did not agree most with the narratives at the ANN7, but it's not my right to then dictate and remove them from there. We think that the viewers at home are the arbiters of who they should listen to, who should they view in terms of the broadcasting. So we are very concerned about that.
You had a very difficult time as a union getting into ANN7. It was widely reported in the media. Sana Makaka, one of the reasons she was allegedly fired was because of trying to unionize workers, because of the poor treatment and poor salaries of some of the workers there, a lot of the workers there, people would say. Someone raised the point today that sometimes work is difficult, not because only of your surroundings, but because of the treatment that you get. So as the CWU, what have you seen in terms of from then until now? And if those jobs are lost, how do you make sure that those issues that came up when you do secure other jobs, those type of issues don't arise again?
Just because we're talking about this wrong decision by Multichoice, we do not exonerate the management of ANN7. It was brutal towards workers. It's paying very low wages. is something that we are fighting. Fortunately, we have reached now 51% in terms of representation. We are about to engage them on salaries and other aspects of working conditions. That was a part of our job. But that does not say, because we are not happy with this particular employer, therefore jobs must be killed. Because that it makes even the situation worse for those individuals. So indeed, they're quite right that there's a number of areas that we wanted to address with ANN7 with regards to working condition. We do not also agree in general with what Multichoice, when we say it wants to play to the gallery around the question of corruption. If they were genuine, SABC should have been one of those who were removed. I mean, they were talking about the breakfast show that also involved Guptas and so forth. So if they were genuine, they will remove SABC as well. So it is a business decision and it is political.
But did Multichoice not say that they didn't find any corruption when it came to that ANN7 thing? I didn't catch the bits about the SABC. But when we're talking about ANN7, there was no outright corruption found. That's what the final word from Multichoice was, no?
Absolutely. They talk to the narrative that is in the public, the negative about ANN7 linking to the Guptas. I'm saying that it is directly the same platform that SABC had the relationship where there's no corruption found, but it's a similar thing. So if they were genuine politically
about removing ANN7,
they would have removed anything else that is relating to Guptas and corruption. So they never did that. So it shows you that they are playing to the political gallery, and this is something that we should not hold back, but to fight head on a Multichoice on that. But the second part is that jobs must be defended. So if we fail in talks, obviously this matter must be taken to the streets.
Aubrey Tshabalala from the Communication Workers Union, thanks so much for your time.